Hello, Mr. G asked me to help you out with understanding environmental determinism.
And I am going to point out why the pilgrim's ideas are wrong. Nobody uses that approach anymore.
Anyway, throughout the study of geography, there have been a number of different approaches to explaining the development of the world's societies and cultures. One is environmental determinism. Environmental determinism is the belief that the environment, most notably its physical factors such as landforms and/or climate, determines the patterns of human culture and societal development.
And you don't even take into account human choice. That does not make sense. Putz.
Let me speak. I was promised by the teacher that I could talk. So, environmental determinism proves that an area's physical characteristics like climate have a strong impact on the psychological outlook of its inhabitants. For instance, areas in the tropics are less developed because the continuously warm weather there makes it easier to survive, and thus, people living there do not work as hard to ensure their survival, like in Africa or Latin America. Another example of environmental determinism would be that island nations have unique cultural traits solely because of their isolation.
Okay, I may buy into the island isolation thing, but the rest of your crap just sounds racist. And I bet the best environment for a society is Europe and North America, right?
Well, yeah. Okay, I see that you are not convinced. We based our ideas off of Darwin, you know. Ratzel, Semple, and Huntington, all of whom are noteworthy geographers, believe in it. And we do have the best environment that ensured our survival because it made us strong enough to take over the world through imperialism. What now?
Really? You are going to use a bunch of dead geographers and 19th century politics to support yourself?
Yes.
How do you explain the Aztecs, the Mayans, the fact that the first library in history was in Africa, and that many of the current growing nations are not in your perfect environment?
Well, what do you think is the right approach for geographers to use to explain society differences?
Possibilism, as pushed by people like Carl Sauer, and his cultural landscape approach is pretty effective. The idea that people, through their own work, can change the landscape and adapt to it. We make our own footprint by building unique structures according to our cultures and thus can develop anywhere.
That is all well and good, but what about physical processes like climate and soil that can limit a culture's development in a given area? Like the monsoons of South Asia, the poor soil of Egypt, or the swamps of Florida?
I'm glad that you brought those up. You obviously didn't read the text. You'll be in trouble come test time, schmuck. If the Dutch can make polders, then farmers can certainly choose the right type of crop for poor soil, especially in more developed countries.
So, you are saying that climate does not matter? That there is no use for the climate map on page 26?
Not at all, my dense friend. Environment can limit development, but does not decide it. It is just another thing we have to deal with.
I guess. That makes sense.
Yep, well, that is all the time we have today. Good luck, everyone.
Bye-bye.